Alright, here we're going to take a look at analyzing transactions and using the analyzing transaction sheets when we've already got it through the increases and decreases. We've already figured out what happened. We've already figured out which accounts we're going to use. We've already figured out what kinds of accounts those are, and we've already figured out whether we have an increase and a decrease in each one of those accounts. Now we're going to take a look at actually applying the debit or credit to that. So here I have 4 transactions listed on here, and we're just going to take a look at using our debit credit chart and filling in the debit and credit on these transaction sheets. So on the first one, we have increase in an asset. So I take a look and I see asset increase. Do we have an increase? Yes, we do. And so we're going to use debit. And so next to here I would put debit. Here we have an increase in owner's equity. Now, now that we're in the new chapter and we're talking about debits and credits, we can't use OE anymore. We learned that for owner's equity there's 4 subsets, which is investment, withdrawal, revenues, or expenses. It has to be one of those 4. We can't just say OE anymore. So this, as we can see, is an owner investment. So I'm going to change that OE to an I for investment. And I have, therefore, an increase in investment. So I take a look on my debit and credit chart. Here is the investments. Do I have an increase? Yes, I do. And so I'm going to credit that. Now on your transaction sheets, on the new modified ones, it asks you whether, instead of saying does the equation balance and having an A equals L plus E where you put pluses and minuses, we're not going to do that anymore. And it does say instead, do the debits equal the credits? Now, if you only have 2 accounts, one under your receive and one under your give up, then it doesn't matter whatever the number is. If you have 1 debit and 1 credit, then your debits equal your credits. So it doesn't matter whether I'm talking about $50 or $500 or $500,000, I'm going to be debiting and crediting that same number, and so my debits are going to equal my credits. So in that case, here I have 1 debit and 1 credit, and so I'm going to say yes, my debits equal my credits. Okay, on the next one to the right, we have here a decrease in an asset. Okay, and so I look up asset. I say, do I have an increase? No, I have a decrease. That's the opposite of increase. So I have to use the opposite of debit, which is going to be credit. Then I have an increase in expense. I look up expense. Do I have an increase? Yes, I do. So I will use debit. Okay, do my debits equal my credits? Yes. I have 1 debit and 1 credit. On the next one, we bought some office equipment on account. So we have office equipment and accounts payable. I have an increase in an asset and an increase in a liability. So my increase in my asset, I look up asset, increase, yes, that will be a debit. And I look up liability, increase, liability, increase, yes, so that will be a credit. Okay. Do my debits equal my credits? Yes. I have one debit and one credit. Okay, here we have where we sold services for cash. So I have an increase in an asset and an increase in revenue. So I take a look. I have an asset. Is that an increase? Yes. So I'm going to debit that. And we have an increase in revenue. I look up revenue, increase, yes. So I'm going to credit that. I have one debit and one credit. So I can say, yes, my debits equal my credits. So the only thing you have to remember as you're going through your analyzing transaction sheets, you're just adding the debit and credit next to whatever account it is, and you're having to say, do your debits equal your credits? As you use the debit and credit chart, you just have to remember to know if something is being increased, then you use whatever it tells you to use. If it's being decreased, you have to use the opposite of that thing.